Ooh, whatto chaps, I'm MagicalMike, and I want to talk about the Escape from Lion's Arch. I was about to say Edge of the Mists. This isn't Edge of the Mists, this is Escape from Lion's Arch, which is the next patch after Edge of the Mists, where we escape from Lion's Arch. And this is going to be a video where I literally just show you all of the vistas. And there's a reason for that. And it's because of this next shot that we're going to see. So we're going to get a before shot, an after shot, and then I'm going to mix the two together, and you're going to get a sort of weird thing where you get to see how the look of each of these areas has transformed. This shot in particular of the Mystic Forge is what caused me to do this video, because I just sort of merged them together like that, and I thought, wow, that actually looked pretty cool, and I thought people might be interested, and I'd kind of want to talk about it anyway. So because Lion's Arch has been devastated so heavily, we've got pretty much a remodelled city here. I mean, it's not much of a city now, it's more of a war zone, and this is the only vista that actually changes dramatically in how the camera moves. The rest of them all seem to have the same sort of camera movement, which is why I can do these pretty cool looking comparisons of the two. And when I did the Mystic Forge one, I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool, it's interesting to see how the city's transformed. So in this particular shot you get to see how the camera moves underneath this bridge and everything like that, but then as it transitions in, you see that the bridge has been totally destroyed, so the camera's got to go sort of around it. I also found it interesting to actually do the vistas in this whole new Lion's Arch zone, because they're dramatically different. This one in particular is a really good example of how different it is. You see me stood on top of the sails there, you have to jump on top of the wooden boats and get on top of the sails and all sorts of stuff like that. But of course they're made of wood, and the place is getting torn apart, so this is what's left of the boats and the bridge here. Yep, there's nothing. They're all just collapsed and destroyed in the water there. So I had to go up around some cliffs and all sorts of stuff to find that vista. This one you'll see is actually, I mean, it's obvious enough that it's a dramatic change, but in this shot here, you get to see the boats just disappear, and that's it. They're just gone. Completely gone. And obviously there's other stuff, like clearly the red mist has descended, and Lion's Arch doesn't look so nice anymore, but I like how I think they must have taken a base of Lion's Arch and then rebuilt it quite dramatically from the ground up again, because there's a lot of things in Lion's Arch now that wasn't there before. Obviously the collapsed buildings and stuff create more of a maze-like atmosphere and things like that, but there's a lot of secret hidden caves and stuff just lying around in the corners and underneath things that you wouldn't expect, that contain all these hidden heirlooms and things like that. It's pretty interesting. And other things like the cliff on the side you just saw there, just slightly remodelled and redone a bit, but you know, every little bit helps, and I thought it was pretty interesting to look at all the changes and analyse it a little bit. So here's a nice lovely shot of the mow races. I timed that well accidentally by getting the mowers racing in there. I wonder if the mowers survive the attack on Lion's Arch. Well, we get a shot of a char racing there, kind of. Well, judging by it, no they don't, but in reality they actually do, because there's an event to escort them out, which people often fail because they die remarkably easily. So in this comparison shot we see that originally there's the ramp there, the wooden ramp, and all the palm trees and stuff, which they're all gone, torn apart. There's an Asura gate, there's rocks, all sorts of stuff in there, everything's on fire. That Asura gate, by the way, goes to Lornar's Pass now, to the Derman Priory. So that was quite a big change for that area. There's things like the Postern Ward or something. This one's Sharkmoor Caverns before the change. This isn't a particularly interesting vista either, to be honest. It just sort of goes woo into there. And this is Sharkmoor after the change. See if you can spot the difference. there's some red bits of ash and there's mist down there. It's all slightly more evil looking, and that's pretty much it for this one. That's not a particularly interesting vista to compare. As you can see in the transition shot we got here, it barely changes at all. It's just a sort of bit of a contrast change, the brightness changes a bit and the colour goes a bit. That's it. This place looks very different now. This is the ArenaNet arena with the mini-pet battles that were originally going to be in the game. It was not very well hyped, which is surprising because ArenaNet hype a lot of things, a lot like this patch, and that's gone. That's been completely ruined and destroyed now. Instead of mini-pet battles, you can battle some dredge or some molten alliance, some char. There's no mini-pets though. They're gone. It would have been funny to see some dead minis lying around, but no. So I don't know if that's an indication of them just giving up the idea of mini-pet battles entirely. I know they mentioned Polymorph in the last patch, in the Edge of the Mist story stuff. They also spelt Polymorph wrong, they spelt it with 2 L's, so I was a bit disappointed with that, but that's nitpicking, that's silliness. The focus on that vista now is more just on the destruction, as you should be expecting, and the focus is more on where you're stood on the diving board and stuff. As for this one, this is Old Lion's Arch from Guild Wars 1, submerged underwater, now reduced to even more rubble than before with this giant gaping drill. You don't get to see what's down there yet, hopefully we will soon because I'm interested. You can swim down to that drill and you get wrecked by it. It does a lot of damage and you just die. In this transition shot I've faded in the two a couple of times because there's a lot of differences that you wouldn't notice if I just left it otherwise. There we go. I'm glad that those 2 lion statues are untouched. If those had gone, then we'd have been left with like 2 statues in one of the first vistas we saw, and that's it. Which would have been a bit of a shame. Hopefully they rebuild something on Lion's Arch, but not as it is in these shots, with these buildings and something. I want something different if they ever do, or if they leave it as a war-torn, ravaged area like this, then I guess that would be nice too. It would be an interesting thing to have in the game. I don't know for how long though, it might get quite tedious and boring, but we'll have to see where ArenaNet goes with that stuff. So yeah, you can pretty much count on every single wooden building in this entire zone to be just completely knackered now. On fire, destroyed, any of the towers that are about just knocked over and ruined. You can climb up a lot of these things and there's hidden things to find in different areas. And along with hidden things, a lot of molten, toxic and Aether Blade alliances hanging about to make your life more difficult. Indeed. This is the Pirate Cave, which is I think my second to last vista. And originally there's just a bunch of pirates in here, there's nothing too interesting. The change has brought all 3 alliances into this one cave. There's no reason to go in here unless you want the one bit of rubble with the heirloom in there. You got the dredge sat on his throne, well not really sat on his throne, but I guess he's the leader of this little area now, he's taking his bounty, his loot. In the comparison shot though, as we sweep through this area, there's not a lot that's changed. There's the spider, and there's the dredge instead of those 2 pirates, and overall it looks pretty much the same. Out of shot below us right now, there's actually a bunch of toxic guys that you can't see. And I think this is the final vista. This is the diving board at the top of Lion's Arch, which of course is made of wood, so it's not going to be there anymore. Or is it? You also get to see the Tengu wall in the background there. Bit disappointed that they haven't actually done anything but shoot us down. But there you go. I'll talk about that more in the next video I suppose. Get a nice shot of the drill here in this ruined shot of Lion's Arch. Yeah, I thought this would be an interesting video to do, just to have a look at all the vistas and how it changes and things like that. And you get to see the differences. And oh, they have kept the diving board, it's just a bit lower down now, so it's not as fun, just so that they preserve the diving ogre achievement. So, there you go, there's a bit of a look at Lion's Arch, go and have a look at it yourself. I've been Magical Mike, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.